everyone, it's Monica, and welcome back to Tailor-Made Cards for You. I'm here today to share with you a technique using some of the Tim Holtz Distress Stains. Now, if you've never worked with the Distress Stains before, they are reactive, somewhat like watercolors. The set that I'm working with have the sponge tip, whereas some of the other ones actually come in a spray bottle. What I like about the sponge tip is you can actually paint with them and do fun techniques, which I'm about to show you. Now, this box that I just pulled out is a altered Kleenex box, and I use it when I'm actually spraying items that will create some sort of a splatter. Now, to do this technique, you want to make sure that the felt tip at the end of your distress stain is really moist, because you're going to push down with some force so that way you'll get a splatter. Now, as you see here on this yellow one, I didn't have enough liquid on the tip, so it didn't splatter for me. So you do want to make sure that it is extra moist. And that's why it's important to actually have some sort of box or something that you're working with, because you are looking for it to splatter. And of course, we can't control where a splatter goes, and you don't want to have it end up all over your clothes or your surface. Now, what's fun about this technique is you can do it with any color. You're looking for a pattern of splatters, and you don't have to have any rhyme or reason, just add some colors. There isn't a wrong way to do this. Again, you only want to make sure that you have enough liquid at the tip, so that way when you push down, you do get it looking like a paint splatter. Now, the theme that I'm going for today is imperfection. So I thought I would also add a little bit more grunge to the card to create a more imperfect surface. The clear stamp set that I'm working with is from Finnabar, and it's from one of their background stamps that I use regularly on my distress cards. I'm working with some archival ink, and I'm simply adding some of the stamp surface all around the card until I get some sort of a random pattern. And then I'm taking my cardstock and I'm taping it down to some blue cardstock. The stamp that I'm working with today is a custom stamp I had made over at Simply Stamps, and it reads "Embrace Imperfection." While the stamp does come mounted on a wood block, I decided to pull it off and actually use my MISTI to stamp my sentiment. I wanted my sentiment to have a fancy border, so I decided to use a die cut from Spellbinders called Fancy Frame Tags 3. To continue the theme of imperfection, I decided to use my distress tool on the edge of my sentiment to fray the edges. And once I had the edges nice and frayed, I came in with some black soot distress paint to add a little bit more vibrancy to the edge. Now I decided to use some foam tape on my Embrace Imperfection just to give it a little bit more height. I didn't want it to necessarily lay flat on my card because I wanted it to stand out just a bit more. And after I had mounted my sentiment, I still saw some white spots, so I thought that I would add one more type of grunge to the card just to finish it off. I didn't want it to be too dramatic, so I decided to come in with this stencil and add a few black dots. So I pulled out my black Soot distress paint and I dabbed on some paint just to add a few more dots in the areas that showed white on the card. So I hope that you've enjoyed this technique and that I've given you at least a couple of ideas on how to use your distress stain. As always, I will leave a list of all the products that I've used to create this card, along with the links to the stores. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd sure appreciate a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave me a comment before you head out. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and as always, I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks again, and we'll see you again next time.